To other news now, and South Australia police are investigating whether there's a connection between the murder of an elderly Seacliff woman and the fact someone had cut the power to her home by tampering with its fuse box. Her death was one of 3 alleged murders in the last 48 hours.
Anne Redmond had lived alone in the Yakka Road house since her husband died. The 87-year-old was last in contact with her family on Tuesday afternoon. Family members found her body in the backyard last night.
She just seemed to be such a person who kept to herself. It's quite surprising. You wouldn't expect it around here.
Nearby residents had their theories on what might have happened.
I believe the lady who lived opposite found her power box open and the power off, and she went outside, it was open and the switches had been turned off. And she looked across at the supposedly murdered woman's place and found her power box open as well, and rang her, and no answer, of course.
It was a suspicion confirmed by police.
It is apparent that the power to Mrs. Redmond's house had been turned off at the meter box that evening, and this has possibly occurred to 2 other neighbouring properties.
More than 100 houses have been door-knocked and searches have been conducted nearby. The murders prompted a warning, especially for the elderly.
If people hear noises in their backyard and that at night, then they should call the patrol first to investigate. They should not go out themselves and place themselves at risk.
Also last night, a 29-year-old man was killed after a fight between 2 groups of men in South Plympton.
They had a fight and it got worse, and one of the men hit the person on his head, so it was a terrible thing to see.
3 men will appear in court tomorrow charged with the murder, and a 30-year-old Salisbury North man was murdered at Osborne overnight. At about 2 o'clock he was stabbed and staggered bleeding across Northolt Road.
The man was in a real bad way, he was just bleeding everywhere. There was pretty much nothing we could do for him, but we're on to AAA trying to help him.
A 39-year-old man will face court tomorrow. Matthew Smith, ABC News, Adelaide.